that I held my tongue and I swallowed my pride and I tried to do one last ride. And I get there, and at first it's fine. And I mean, they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, you know, which that's probably not good, you know, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. It looked good on the visual. Like it looks good on camera. You know, it's movie magic bullshit. It was a terrible facility. I mean, it was in one of the studios. They had to like get like a separate like tank for, you know,
You know, white people did away with like war crimes, crimes against humanity. Yeah, they just did away with it. There's not really no challenge to it. It must be good to be white. Like, it must be crazy. Like, it must be so crazy that if you white and with power, influence, and money, you literally can do what you want. There's no challenge in the world for you besides yourself. And everybody be like, oh, you're the only challenge in your life. I'm the challenge because I'm poor. They're the challenge because they want to figure out how they can ruin the world even more.
septic stuff. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Like, things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. You know, there's not like a hot water mechanism, so the hot tub was a lukewarm tub at best, which was a silly complaint, but the shower was always cold, and you're taking like a quick shower, and I had cameras 24/7 on me, and it got to a point where like they weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? You know, and they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping?
They were literally willing to torture this man just to get some random time-lapse shots. And to rub salt in the wound, apparently one of those days, MrBeast ended up pulling up, and he asked the director to ask Jake Weddle to lie and say how thankful he was to be able to pay off his student debt.
You know, and then Jimmy would come in like every other day for like an hour, you know, to check in on me because he's doing other.
What if this is MrBeast doing what is that thing called? Pulling a double agent. Like, he's hiring these people to say bad things about him to boost his numbers even more. Like, what if he's orchestrating all of this? Why people do wild things? I don't think people understand.
Other stuff. You know, I'm just the guy in the cage over here. He'll come back to me in a minute. And so he'd come by, he'd get the shots, he'd leave. Sometimes he'd have a note for the director over the phone. That would really piss me off. This is a note I got from the director, from Jimmy, when I'm receiving some cash. He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are?
I almost forgot. The fact that this the 20-year-old white man was like, yo, the older black dude has the same experience and does the same work as me. Why am I getting paid more? And they was like, well, because we don't like paying black people. Why are you questioning that? You should be on our side. That's so crazy. White people, even the ones that you think is not real, I mean not real, not evil, tend to be evil.
That now you can pay back your student loans. You know how hard it was to do a take of that? And pretend to make it genuine? I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage. But Jimmy's the guy with the money, and if you do what he says, he'll do what you want. You want your student loans paid off? You just be in this cage. And you have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it.
So yeah, long story short, there were not good enough conditions for Jake Weddle to actually complete this challenge, and he ended up having to bail out of it because of some really bad mental health problems that he ended up getting from this. It was so bad that when describing the whole situation in the interview, he almost started breaking down crying. Well, not almost, he did just straight up start crying because of this. Which goes to show that participating in one of these MrBeast challenges that don't end up getting posted on YouTube is probably so goddamn traumatic and can give people PTSD. be. Like, imagine putting someone in solitary confinement, never turning off the lights just to get some better footage, having the worst possible conditions in the set, and then taking advantage of the fact that the guy needs money, so obviously he's going to participate in the challenge.